entirety of the 1800s was an era for development and equality in America. During a time of imbalance between rich and poor people, the less fortunate class did not receive a higher quality education. Among the many people who had an unfair opportunity to succeed in America, there was Horace Mann, often called the father of education, a man whose societal arguments for education changed the school system and inspired what we have today. He broke the traditional working industry, creating opportunities for all humans to shoot for the stars. He insisted that education would reform society and fix the imbalance between classes. As his works developed into what they are today, Horace Mann redefined education into a pathway for success. Horace Mann gave students, teachers, and society the right and responsibility to value education. His unwavering efforts to reform American education have left an everlasting legacy, fulfilling his goal of making education the key to creating a just and equal society. But how did he do this? We will look at his early life, his educational reforms, and his impact and legacy. Horace Mann and his great educational reform. Horace Mann, born in Franklin, Massachusetts in 1796, is often called the father of American education. Horace Mann was born into a poor family. His dad was a farmer who hardly made any money. This had a huge effect on him and his path to success. First of all, he had to self-educate himself by using the Franklin Public Library. Of course, the only academies available were costly, which further motivated him to establish schools for the poor and the rich. At 20, Horace Mann enrolled in Brown University, where he showcased his great language and persuasive speaking skills. Mann proved to be an astounding student, graduating as valedictorian in 1819. As valedictorian, he had to give a valedictorian address. His speech was remarkable, covering his advocacy for human rights and his ideas regarding the workforce. He specifically emphasized that education was the equalizer of society. After graduating, Horace Mann went on to study law in Wrentham, Massachusetts during 1823. Like his other exceptional skills, Mann was known to be a great lawyer. He studied law in various different towns and was set up for success with his persuasive speaking. He married Charlotte Messer in 1830, but she shortly died 2 years later in 1832. His wife's death was devastating to him. He ended up moving to Boston shortly after. During his time in Boston, he took a great interest in human rights and charitable work. He was also admitted to the Massachusetts State Senate. From a lawyer to a politician, his goal was to reform the school system. He started by getting the state legislature to fund money for annual reports. The reports, written by Horace Mann, served as a progress checker and a status checker. As the movement grew, common or public schools were now established for the poor and rich kids. This movement inspired more improvements and started the Board of Education. Horace Mann was now the first secretary of the Board of Education. Although he had little real authority, his countless visits to schools led to his annual reports gaining lots of attraction and debate. With more attention, Horace Mann started writing articles about the ideal education system, which ended up providing funds for classrooms. With funds from the state legislature, classrooms now had desks, papers, pencils, and notebooks. Horace Mann has now accomplished his first step, but he wanted more. He wanted to improve the quality of education. His ideas were clearly argued in his annual reports, but he also delivered speeches to common citizens. A visit to Europe led him to take a few tips. Schools started adopting an alphabet teaching system, just like Europe had. But Europe was different. They only allowed rich people to attend academies. Exactly what Horace did not want. According to European theory, men are divided into classes. According to the Massachusetts theory, all are to have an equal chance for learning and an equal security and the employment of what they earn. He commonly argued that the lack of schools did not allow humans to reach their full potential. How many feel daily that their power of thinking, and especially of expressing their thoughts in speech or in writing, has, all their life long, been obstructed or deadened from an absence of facilities for information and of incitements to study in early life? For the parents themselves, these regrets come too late. After Horace Mann witnessed immigrants put to work, he also strived to make schools available for everyone. Horace Mann argued more, which never really worked until after his death. Furthermore, he tried to establish more schools with help from Henry Bernard and Calvin Wiley, two contemporaries. By 1850, funding for schools was permanently established across 30 states. His final annual report stressed the importance of education between the poor and rich. By using Europe as an example of rich versus poor, Horace Mann emphasized the importance of equality between the classes. A quote from his 12th annual report goes like this: "It gives each man the independence in how he can resist the selfishness of other men. It does better than to disarm the poor of their hostility towards the rich. It prevents being poor." Horace Mann also dedicated a lot of his efforts to the quality of education. For example, he created a new training regimen for teachers to ensure they were experienced in their field. His push for better teacher training led to more opportunities for success and overall better advancements. As Horace Mann once said, "Teaching is the most difficult of arts." Horace Mann's advocacy for education led to the permanent funding of 30 public schools all across America in 1850. Alongside the funding, he also established 50 schools in Massachusetts with his earnings. His establishment of the public school system in America led to the current system we use today. His efforts made school accessible to all social classes and races. Mann's goal for a more inclusive education system influenced future reforms, including the No Child Left Behind Act. The No Child Left Behind Act emphasizes equal education for all children. Today, every state in the U.S. offers free public education, an effect of Mann's reforms. Additionally, Mann's creation of elaborate teacher training remains in use today. Today, teachers need to obtain a degree in education, ensuring they are able to provide students with good quality education. The educational reforms he established, such as the length of school year terms and attendance rules, continue to live in the structure of modern schools. Unfortunately, Horace Mann did not survive to see the full effects of his efforts. At his time, African Americans still were not able to attend public schools, even after the 13th Amendment. But he would be proud to see the changes today that he initially inspired. Mann left a great school system for kids to learn and become successful. Now let's talk about the rights and responsibilities. With Horace Mann's achievements and legacy, he added more to everyone's rights and responsibilities. With the right to go to school and get an education, the responsibilities of paying attention, doing homework, and keeping good attendance are involved. Furthermore, everyone has a right to an equal opportunity at success, and people have the responsibility to work hard to get what they want. Responsibilities as teachers were also built upon. Teachers now have to dedicate their lives to teaching and taking into account the No Child Left Behind Act. In conclusion, Horace Mann's lifelong passion and dedication to reform education left a great mark on the American education system. His advocacy that education should be the great equalizer of society influenced his work as a lawyer, politician, and educator. Through his efforts, Mann shaped an equal, just, and high-quality education system, ensuring that future generations would have access to the tools needed to succeed. His legacy lives on in the modern American education system, which continues to improve for equal opportunities and the emphasis of the power of education.